Well. Let's talk about it, people. My name is SenseiRip, and I'm back again with another video. Before we get started today, man, I have to send a salute and shout out to each and every one of my subscribers. We finally hit that 100K mark right in time before the end of the year, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Without y'all support, man, none of this would be possible. Today, we're going to talk about another untold Fat Joe story. For those who don't know, recently Fat Joe was on Biggie's Checcn podcast. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description for the whole interview. But a lot of people are reacting to Fat Joe pretty much revealing, right, a bombshell to Big U, basically saying, look, I'm the reason. Me and Mack 10, right, and our collaboration is the sole reason, why the East Coast and West Coast feud ended. Now, again, he's telling a story on this podcast that no one's ever heard before. Some people, they like cap. You know how the internet is. But we got a Gene Deal response, right? So stick around for that at the end. But we're going to show y'all the clip because, I want y'all to hear his words and not take it out of context. And I'm going to hit y'all back, with my commentary. All right? So make sure y'all like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, man, get your popcorn, get your L's, get your drink. Let's tune in. All right? Catch y'all then. Peace.
Do you know what stopped the East Coast, West Coast beef?
I was gone.
You was gone, but do you know what stopped the East Coast, West Coast beef? Fat Joe. Now we're gonna go.
Okay.
It's bad. East Coast, West Coast beef. Everybody's beefing. Major pressure. Snoop come over here. He kick over the buildings. They shoot at his trailer. It's a whole bunch of that. So the media at the time, it was magazines. Magazines in the hip hop media was really pushing that beef more than anybody to sell magazines. So they had niggas on the cover, yo, this one, fuck this, that. They was hyping that shit up, selling Mad magazine. Fat Joe gets into it with some West Coast dudes in Miami, right? Legendary. You never heard this before. I'm not going to explain who it was. But they was rolling on everybody. They roll on Fat Joe. And then Fat Joe, we had it out. Physical. Yeah, of course. Yo, come on. Physical. Right? So now, we have it out. They go back home, I go back home. I'm from New York, right? So I go this. Right? So Farrakhan holds an East Coast, West Coast meeting in his house. Right? It ain't just going to be West Coast dudes mad at this interview. I come, it's only me and Dougie Fresh from New York in there. The whole West Coast was in his house. Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Mack 10, Dub C, MCA, Grant, any Cam, the whole West Coast is there.
Right.
It's Fat Joe from New York. The whole New York got invited. Fat Joe shows up. Boom. So I start having words with Ice Cube. It get real heated because I'm like, yo, my man, we out of all the West Coast, and New York loved the West Coast. Out of all the West Coast, the guy who had the most love in the universe was Ice Cube. Bro, this man did the Apollo Theater in Harlem, and you name who's who was on their fucking chairs jumping up and down for Ice. We love Ice Cube. So I confronted him. We had a heated discussion. I was like, yo, bro, what? Because he started pushing the East Coast, West Coast shit too, where he had the Dub C, the this, that, Dub C, Mack 10, and they doing all that. I'm like, yo, bro, I've seen you in the streets of New York. We love you. We show you too much love. Why are you pushing this shit? Do better. It's one thing if you from the West Coast and you never been to New York and you don't know no better, and you like, fuck it, I'm riding for the West. It's another thing if you sat in Fat Joe's store, you ate chicken with everybody, you know what's up. Niggas really love you. You should have been the nigga trying to bring the peace. That's what I was trying to tell him. We didn't really so technically need Farrakhan to make this meeting. Everybody love you. You could have set this shit up and squashed it. So I'm there by myself. That's where I met Mack 10. Right? So me and Mack 10 went to the side, and at the time back, Mack 10 was Ice Cube's guy, right? And at the time. So me and Mack 10 hit it off. He was like, yo, man, I fuck with you, Fat Joe. Everything I hear about you, this and that, this and this and that, And I'm like, yo, I fuck with all of y'all, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, man, let's show them that the East Coast and West Coast could do something positive. Let's work together. And we shot the movie Dick It in Water out in L.A. And so we did it. And from there, that showed people that New York and L.A. could work together. And we became a bond. And we was doing videos together and working as it eased. I would like to say that eased the tension between East Coast and West Coast. And it needed something like that, a Fat Joe, Mack 10, and everybody started working with each other and showing brotherhood and unity. He came out here.
I gotta go watch that movie.
I didn't even know it was Bloods in New York till Mack 10 came out here with me. So he came with me. He was like, yo, take me to your projects. I was like, all right. He came to my projects. These little kids start running out the buildings all dressed in red. Like, this is my projects.
Right.
South Bronx. You know, it was no gangs here. It wasn't like LA gangs since back in the day. It was no gangs here. None.
I remember that.
It was just get money in it. Everybody who got whatever, if you strong, whatever the case may be. But he woke me up. When I brought him to my block, the little dudes from my block started running out like, oh my God. Like, they saw the flag. Like, Mack 10? You kidding me? Red shirts on, all type of shit. I was like, oh shit. The gangs is in New York. Like,
well, there y'all go. Fat Joe revealing to Big U how him and Mack 10's movie Thicker Than Water helped end the beef between East Coast versus West Coast. Now, in the beginning, if you was paying attention, he tried to set it up like he was the reason why, but, you know what I mean, he cleaned it up towards the end. And if you paid attention, he specifically said the movie helped ease the tension between both coasts. So, again, this is a touchy story to talk about because so many people were involved, right? So many individuals that's no longer with us anymore can, you know, step up to the plate and debunk the story. But there's one individual, right? Puff's former bodyguard, Big Gene Dill, who, you know, pretty much respectfully says, Fat Joe, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? You know, for those who don't know, Big Gene was around. You know what I'm saying? He was the one revealing bombshells about Biggs last night. So again, for those who don't know, y'all need to go check that out immediately because Gene was there. And so, you know, so many other artists was a part of this conversation. So again, Fat Joe, respect to you. Maybe your intentions were pure and stepping up and trying to defend your coast and doing whatever was necessary. And, you know, because you can never tell a person how they feel internally. Maybe he thought his actions was, you know, was creating an impact that helped influence the culture at that time, but it was so many other bigger names. Respectfully, Fat Joe's bigger artists at that time that hold more weight. And it's just hard for me to believe that just, you know, Fat Joe is the sole reason. But again, if you catch it at the end, he definitely says the movie helped ease the tension. That's why I said, to me, that's more realistic. And this, you know, it's stories like this that people hear and they go crazy in the comment section. Fat Joe, you capping, you lying, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna go crazy in this comment section. But at the end of the day, man, this is a story. Fat Joe is an entertainer, he's a rapper, and he understands he wants to be entertaining. So for those who don't know, make sure y'all go over to IG, follow Fat Joe, because he does the Fat Joe, you know what I'm saying? The Fat Joe show where he has, you know, who knows? He knows everybody in the industry. He'll have them on and have an epic, you know what I mean, interview. Y'all know how it is, man. But shout out to Fat Joe. Shout out to Big U for actually putting this together and having a dope episode. I mean, they wanted to go viral. That is the whole reason and sole purpose, you know, behind doing an interview like this, or it would just come and go. But like I said, I just wanted to leave y'all with the clip, the official response from Gene Dill. Y'all make sure to subscribe to his channel. I just want y'all to hear what he's saying and not, you know, assume that it's being taken out of context. At the end of the day, these are two grown men that I think eventually will have a conversation behind the scenes. But, you know, everyone's going to talk about it, right? Everyone's going to talk about it. And we just got to accept it. We're almost approaching 2022, and people are still infatuated behind the beef with Pac and Big and East Coast and West Coast. And there are a lot of people that like to come out 20, 30 years later and finally speak their truth. With so many people no longer here, present, in jail. I mean, who's going to really check you? So shout out to both, you know, Fat Joe, Big U, and even Gene Dill.
So, but no, Joe, you didn't stop the East Coast, West Coast beef. It was because of Big's death that stopped the East Coast, West Coast beef. People working behind the scenes before Pac and Big even got murdered that was trying to stop the East Coast, West Coast beef. That was Eric B. That was Big D. That was Chaz Williams. That was Jimmy Henchman. And all them niggas was gangsters except Eric B. I ain't gonna put him in the gangster. He got gangster potential.
And that was Gene Dill's official response to Fat Joe's claims that him and Mack 10 helped end the feud. But again, who knows how, you know, Gene heard the news. He could have just seen it, you know, people talking about it in the comment section, you know. So sometimes you get these stories out of context. But salute to brother Gene Dill, man, holding it down on the channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to Big U Checcn In podcast. And goddamn it, make sure you subscribe to me if you haven't already. All right. Y'all let me know down in the comment section, man. Do you think Fat Joe was just trying to have a viral moment with this podcast? Or do you think that, you know what I mean, in the heart of our hearts, man, Fat Joe honestly believes he's the one responsible, him and Mack 10, for ending the feud, East Coast versus West Coast beef. Like I said, man, we are almost reaching 2022 and people are still talking about the impact behind, you know, Biggie and Pac, man. There's so many different generations that were influenced, but now we're moving in an era where some really don't get it because they weren't around to live it. So it's easy to, you know, push certain narratives and stories out there and people will be naive enough to believe it because they weren't around back then to confirm or deny it. The only thing that they'll use is Google, right? Or these fact checks that's on these social media platforms. But at the end of the day, for those who was there, they know the truth. All right, so like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section because a lot of people, man, they tend to go off on Fat Joe. This isn't the first time Fat Joe talked about Tupac or Biggie. If you remember back then, he said him and Biggie was, you know, putting some raps together to diss Pac. So I don't know. Like I said, it just goes to show Pac wasn't crazy. I know that when he was dissing a lot of East Coast artists because where it got back to him, that these dudes was teaming up. And you hear these stories come out, you know, years later down the line, and you're like, damn, Pac wasn't tripping. He damn sure wasn't perfect. But, you know, his reasons for how he moved, some of it were valid, man. Some people, you know, wasn't as real and loyal as Pac was to them. And that bothered them. But at the end of the day, man, again, this is 20 plus years ago. Got to let the legacies live on. And respect to both, Biggie and Pac, man. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in to this dope segment, man. I appreciate the support. And we're just going to keep moving. All right, so stay tuned. We got more on the way. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch y'all at the next one. You dig? Peace.